The village of Oakhaven was small and quiet. It nestled at the edge of a vast, dark forest. The forest was ancient and sprawling, a place of shadows and secrets. Villagers spoke of a legend. A solitary figure, they said, roamed the woods. They called him the Watcher. The Watcher, they whispered, was always watching. He was said to be tall and gaunt, with eyes that glowed in the darkness. No one knew his true form, for those who saw him never lived to tell the tale. Fear of the Watcher ran deep in Oakhaven. Parents warned their children never to venture into the woods alone. Stories were told around crackling fires, tales of lost souls and strange occurrences within the forest depths. Generations passed, and the legend of the Watcher endured, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lay beyond the safety of the village. Anna was different. Young and spirited, she scoffed at the tales. She didn't believe in monsters or myths. The forest to her was a place of beauty and wonder, not fear. She longed to explore its hidden paths, to uncover its secrets for herself. One crisp autumn afternoon, Anna decided to prove the villagers wrong. "I'm going for a walk in the woods," she announced at the dinner table. Her parents exchanged worried glances. "Don't go too far," her mother cautioned, her voice edged with concern. "It's getting late." Anna just smiled, a mischievous glint in her eye. "I'll be back before dark," she promised. But her words rang hollow even to her own ears. She was drawn to the forest, compelled by a curiosity she couldn't ignore. The air grew cool as Anna stepped into the woods. Sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled patterns on the forest floor. The trees stood tall and imposing, their branches intertwined like skeletal fingers. As she ventured deeper, the path behind her disappeared. Anna pressed on, undeterred. The forest welcomed her, embracing her in its cool embrace. She felt strangely exhilarated, her senses heightened. The scent of pine needles filled her nostrils, and the only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath her feet. Time seemed to slip away as Anna wandered deeper into the woods. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows that stretched and twisted like phantoms. She realized with a jolt that she had no idea where she was. Fear crept into Anna's heart as darkness enveloped the forest. The once familiar woods now seemed alien and menacing. Every rustle of leaves, every snapping twig sent shivers down her spine. An unnatural silence descended, broken only by the frantic beating of her own heart. She called out for help, but her voice was swallowed by the dense undergrowth. Panic welled up inside her. She quickened her pace, her eyes darting from side to side, searching for a familiar landmark. But the forest seemed to close in around her, a labyrinth with no escape. Anna stumbled over a fallen log, her ankle twisting beneath her. Pain shot up her leg, and she cried out, a sob escaping her lips. She lay there for a moment, her breath coming in ragged gasps, fear constricting her chest like a vice. Then she saw it, a pair of eyes glowing in the darkness. They were watching her, cold and unwavering. Anna froze, her blood turning to ice in her veins. She couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. The eyes seemed to move closer, floating towards her through the trees. Anna scrambled to her feet, ignoring the searing pain in her ankle. She ran blindly, desperately, crashing through the undergrowth. Branches tore at her clothes and thorns ripped at her skin, but she didn't stop. She couldn't stop. The eyes were still there, following her every move. She could feel its presence now, a cold, malevolent energy that seemed to suck the warmth from the air. The forest itself seemed to be closing in around her, the trees reaching out to bar her escape. Anna knew with a terrifying certainty that she was being hunted. Terror lent wings to Anna's feet. She raced through the woods, her lungs burning, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't dare look back, but she could feel the presence of the Watcher closing in on her. Its silence was more terrifying than any sound. The trees blurred into a dizzying kaleidoscope of shadows and light. Anna stumbled and fell, her hands scraped raw against the forest floor. She tasted blood in her mouth, but she couldn't stop. She had to keep running. Ahead through the trees she saw a faint light. Hope surged through her, weak but insistent. With a final burst of energy, she staggered towards it, her legs screaming in protest. She burst through the trees and into a small clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a dilapidated cabin. Its windows were dark and its roof sagged, but it offered a glimmer of hope in the suffocating darkness of the woods. Anna limped towards it, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She fumbled with the doorknob, her fingers trembling. It was locked. Despair threatened to overwhelm her. She rattled the doorknob again, harder this time, putting all her weight behind it. With a groan of protest, the door creaked open. Anna stumbled inside, slamming the door shut behind her. She leaned against it, her chest heaving, her entire body trembling with exhaustion and fear. She was safe for now, but for how long? The silence in the cabin was deafening. Anna held her breath, listening for any sound that might betray her pursuer. She took a step back from the door, her hand reaching out to steady herself against the wall. As her fingers brushed against the rough surface, she felt something cold and damp. She recoiled, her heart leaping into her throat. Slowly she turned to face the wall, her eyes widening in horror as she saw the message scrawled there, seemingly burned into the very wood itself. It was a single word written in a language she didn't understand, but its meaning was clear: beware. Anna whirled around, her eyes scanning the shadows of the cabin, searching for the source of the message. The air grew cold and a low hum vibrated through the floorboards, and then she saw him. The watcher stood in the center of the cabin, his form tall and skeletal, his eyes glowing like embers in the darkness. Anna gasped, her back pressing against the wall, her mind reeling in terror. He was real. The legend was real. He took a step towards her and the air crackled with an unseen energy. Anna wanted to scream, to run, but her body wouldn't obey. She was frozen in place, paralyzed by fear. The watcher reached out a hand, his long bony fingers inches from her face, and then everything went black. The next morning, villagers found the cabin door hanging open, swaying gently in the breeze. They called out for Anna, but their voices echoed unanswered. They searched the cabin and the surrounding woods, but there was no sign of her. Anna was gone, vanished without a trace. The legend of the Watcher lived on, a chilling reminder that some secrets are best left undisturbed. And in the whispers of the wind through the trees, some swore they could still hear Anna's terrified screams.